Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Sit back, enjoy yourselves, and let's go racing. Orange County spread the 66 of Eli Zabwood. Alongside Eli, the 24K, Kirk Van Duzer. Row number 5, starting in 9th spot, the number 6 car, Brett Hearn, and the 25 tonight, Bud Chrisman. Followed by the 73, Johnny Marsh. They're set to go racing right now as they come out of turn number 4. Heat number 1 for the small block modified. Set to go, the green flag fires, and here we go. Tommy Perego, the RCR excavating car, wasting no time at all, grabbing the number 1 spot. Here comes Steve down to the outside, the Chester Hardware 22 machine down the back straightaway. Look to the outside of Billy Eggers for spot number 2. Dodd drops down to the inside right now, that runner-up position. Tommy Perego, the RCR car, comes out of turn number 4. Lotto racing back there for spot number 3 as Frank Cozy takes down to the inside. Cozy grabs the number 3 spot. Brett Hearn right there for spot number 4, and Billy Eggers back in spot number 5. 5 cars qualify right now as Tommy Perego begins to feel the heat from the round plumbing. Chester Hardware, 22 car, down in turns 3 and 4. Steve Dodd looks up to the outside. Frank Cozy, the Reclamation, 74J car, back in spot number 3. Brett Hearn coming on very strong in the Freightliner Express number 6. Right there, nose and tail with Frank Cozy. Hearn looks to the outside, and Eggers back there in spot number 5. Feels the heat from Gary Lusher. Lusher back there in the number 6 spot. Needs one more transfer spot to grab himself a qualifying position out here tonight. Watch the battle right now for spot number 3. Hearn comes down to the inside. Gets by Frank Cozy for spot number 3. Cozy now back there in the number 4 spot. Billy Eggers back in spot number 5. Steve Dodd working on the outside. The Chester Hardware 22 car. Here comes Hearn to the inside. Coming up on the halfway point this time. 4 laps down, 4 to go. Brett Hearn now grabs spot number 2. Hearn looks down to the inside against Tommy Perego. Perego now knows that the heat is on. Perego holds him off down there in turns number 1 and 2. Hearn back there in the 2nd spot. Steve Dodd still 3rd. Frank Cozy motoring well back in spot number 4, followed by Gary Lusher in spot number 5. Gonna get tough right now, down in turns number 3 and 4. Hearn comes alive on the inside. Brett Hearn grabs the number 1 spot, motoring on a turn number 4. Hearn now the new race leader, Tommy Perego 2nd, Steve Dodd is 3rd. Frank Cozy back there in spot number 4, followed by Gary Lusher. Kirk Van Duzer, the 24K car, 1 spot from qualifying, back in spot number 6. As Hearn says bye-bye down the back straightaway, stretching out the number 1 spot. 2 laps to go this time around. 2 to go, coming up for Brett Hearn. Hearn brings the Freightliner Express down the home straightaway. Tommy Perego still 2nd. Steve Dodd back there in spot number 3. Frank Cozy holds on to spot number 4. Gary Lusher rounds out the top 5 qualifying order. Remember, 5 cars qualify into tonight's 30-lap strong feature event. White flag getting set to fly this time. Hearn comes down on a turn number 4. The white flag comes out. 1 more lap to go. And Eli Zabwood having problems in the old tender Tootsie 66 car. He drops off the pace down to the inside of turns 1 and 2. Tommy Perego still back there in 2nd. Steve Dodd 3rd, Cozy 4th, and Lusher back there in spot number 5. Checkered flag coming out this time. Checkered flag coming out. The winner of heat number 1 for the small blocks, Brett Hearn. 2nd spot, Tommy Perego. 3rd is Steve Dodd, followed by Frank Cozy and Gary Lusher. So once again, the winner of heat number 1 for the small block modified, the number and the 87 of Mike Rickey. Back in row number 5, the 21, Greg Morgan, the 2B car, Jim Bobbitt, and the 91 of Pete Hissam. They're set to go racing right now. The 2nd small block modified heat event. Bolton Chevrolet pace car drops down to the inside, looking for the green flag, coming out of turn number 4. Green flag flies, and here we go. Mike DePalma grabs the number 1 spot. Chris Whitehead working back there in the 2nd spot. Hindley down onto the inside against Sean George for spot number 4. Joe Sarvis, the Deeney Engineering car, drops off the pace, motoring down the back straightaway. Sean George looks down to the inside against Pat Van Barrick for spot number 3. Race leader Mike DePalma, the Templates Auto Wrecking 23 car, brings him down the home straightaway. Chris Whitehead back there in spot number 2. Sean George is 3rd. Pat Van Barrick 4th, followed by Tom Hindley, the Mike LeBlanc, Builder of Excellence, number 17 car. Mike Rickey back there in spot number 6. 1 more place to go to grab himself a qualifying position out here tonight. Ricky looks down to the inside right now. The battle for the number 5 spot is on. Ricky on the inside, Heinley on the outside. And 3 cars looking for the number 1 spot. Coming out of turn number 4. De Palma grabs the lead. Sean George slides in down low for spot number 2. Chris Whitehead is third. Mills and Trail, the freight train, down in turns number 1 and 2. And Ricky comes alive on the outside. But here comes Sean George. George comes alive on the inside, grabbing the number 1 spot from Mike De Palma. De Palma now back there in a second. Chris Whitehead is third. Mike Ricky working on the outside of Tom Heinley for spot number 4. Sean George, the S&S Custom Homes number 15 car, wasting no time at all, stretching out that number 1 spot. Mike De Palma, the Templar Tunnel wrecking 23 car, back there in spot number 2. Watch Mike Ricky back there in spot number 4. Ricky coming alive on the outside of the halfway point right now. 4 laps down and 4 to go. Race leader Sean George brings him down in turns number 3 and 4. Mike De Palma still second. Chris Whitehead third, Mike Ricky fourth, and Tom Heinley back there in spot number 5. Whitehead slingshots down to the inside, picks up that runner-up spot, but he drops off the pace and drops out of the groove. De Palma getting caught in traffic, dropping out of the groove as well, and that puts him out of a qualifying position. Sean George comes down the home straightaway, unopposed right now as he stretches out the number 1 spot. Mike Ricky is second. Tom Heinley back there in spot number 3. Stevie Botcher in spot number 4. Pat Van Varick running hard against the 244 car for spot number 5. Van Varick in the blue and silver 15 car holds on to a qualifying position right now. Coming up on 2 laps to go. 2 to go this time around for race leader Sean George. George out of Palmerton, Pennsylvania, holds on to the number 1 spot. Mike Ricky trying very hard to close up the gap back there in spot number 2. Heinley still third. Stevie Botcher in spot number 4. And Chris Whitehead back in spot number 5. Whitehead, the Vernon Pool and Spa car, grabbing that final qualifying position. White flag coming out this time. White flag down, 7 down, 1 more time around. Lap racing action as Sean George takes him down the back straightaway. Mike Ricky still second. Tom Heinley back there in third. Stevie Botcher working on the high side in spot number 4. And Chris Whitehead back there in spot number 5. Looking for the checkers this time around. The winner of heat number 2 for the small block modifieds, the 15 of Sean George. Second spot, Mike Ricky. Third place, bordering down to the wire, the 17 of Tom Heinley, followed by Stevie Botcher and Chris Whitehead. So the winner once again of heat number 2 for the small block and the 55 of Rich Ricky Jr. Row number 5, the R25 of Carl Van Horn, the 74 Jeff Hetzler, and the number 9 car Freddie Newkirk. Well, that's how they're scheduled to go right now for the 3rd qualifying event for the small block modifieds. Once again, tonight's racing program. I'll check. Fulton Chevrolet Pace car drops down to the inside, and we're set to go racing. Small block modified style. Scott Dickey, the Rice Performance 43 car. They motor out of turn number 4 this time. Started Kenny Marshall, and the green flag up here, and we go racing. Bobby Croft, the K3 car, working well on the outside as he grabs the number 1 spot. 3 cars looking for spot number 2 right now. Coming out of turn number 2, Johnson up on the outside. Here comes Robbie Green, the TNT ignitions machine. Green to the outside, working back there in spot number 4, Scott Dickey. Back there in the 3rd spot. Bobby Croft, the K3 car, brings him down the home straightaway. Jimmy Johnson, back there in spot number 2, Robbie Green is 3rd. Chris Tuthill grabbing spot number 4 right now. Scott Dickey back there in spot number 5, but a lot of good hard competition on the inside. Rich Ricky Jr., the Fall Fittings 55 machine, and Jackie Brown Jr. in the Reclamation 14J. Bobby Croft, all bars lonesome, coming down the home straightaway right now, but a lot of good hard racing going on deep in the heart of this small block modified field. Remember, 5 cars qualified, and Everett Halbrick, 1 spot from a qualifying position right now in the Everett's Carpet Service 717 car. Rich Ricky Jr., the Fall Fittings 55 machine. Back there in spot number 5, Chris Tuthill is 4th. Robbie Green on the outside for spot number 3. Jimmy Johnson is 2nd. And Bobby Croft holds on to the number 1 spot. Crump running very, very strong out here tonight. Johnson in second with Chris Tuthill on the inside. Robbie Green looks to the outside. The door gets closed. His slingshot down to the inside for spot number 3. Coming up on the halfway point, halfway this time around. 4 laps down and 4 to go for race leader Bobby Crump. Jimmy Johnson still second. Robbie Green back there in spot number 3. Rich Ricky Jr. in fourth, and Edward Halbrick rounds out the top 5. Chris Tuthill dropping off the pace in the JC Dyno 7M car. Tuthill going to try and work his way back to the pit area right now. Third qualifying event underway for the small block 358 modifieds. Jimmy Johnson also dropping off the pace back there in spot number 4. Jeff Hetzler starting a little alive back in spot number 6. Robbie Green with a flat right rear tire on that car, and Hetzler tags the tail side of Halbrick. That brings out the yellow flag right to go. And heat number 3 for the small block 358 modified. 5 laps down, 3 to go. A single file restart as the Fulton Chevrolet pace car gets set to turn into the infield. Caution lights get turned out. Bobby Crump, your current race leader. Rich Ricky Jr. back there in spot number 2. Here we come. Down in turns number 3 and 4 right now. Bobby Crump, your pole setter, your pace setter. Coming on to turn number 4, the green lights come on. We go back to racing. Rich Ricky Jr. pulls that first mark down to the inside. Side by side right now in turns 1 and 2 against Bobby Crump. Crump back there in spot number 2. Jimmy Johnson in third. Everett Halbrick back in spot number 4. Kyle Van Horn comes on to the inside against Jackie Brown Jr. for spot number 5. Van Horn grabs a qualifying position. Jackie Brown Jr. playing hardball out there right now in spot number 5. Putting on the opposition against Kyle Van Horn. Brown grabs back that final transfer spot. Jeff Hetzler coming back on the rebound on the inside against Kyle Van Horn. Hetzler grabs the number 6 spot. White flag comes out this time. 1 more lap to go, and keep your eyes on Jeff Hetzler back there in spot number 6, wanting a qualifying position. 1 more lap to go. Rich Ricky takes him down in turns number 1 and 2. Bobby Crump is second. Johnson third. Halbrick fourth. Back there in spot number 5. Well, look out for Freddie Newkirk. Newkirk back there in the number 9 car, letting out a power plant as the checkered and yellow comes out this time. And the winner of heat number 3, the 55 car, Rich Ricky Jr. Second spot, Bobby Crump. Third, it's Jimmy Johnson, followed by Everett Halbrick. And the 14 of Jackie Brown Jr. Number 5, the 4 car, Joe Barbagallo, and the 14 of Joe Guerin. That's it. They're set to go racing the 4th qualifying event for the small block modified. 8 laps. 5 cars will qualify into tonight's 30-lap feature event. Fulton Chevrolet pace car down to the inside. Tommy Hall, the Polydyne Precision Alignment number 4 car, brings him down in turns 3 and 4. Starter Kenny Marshall looking him over real good, and the checkered flag comes out. And word being handed up right now, the 4 car jumping that start will be placed back 2 positions at the end of this feature event, at the end of this heat event. So Tommy Hall will put back 2 positions for starting this race just a little bit too early. Second spot right now, he would be your leader getting on the inside. We've got problems. Well, 1 lap has been scored, 1 down and 7 to go. Tom Foley now being handed the pacing duties in the International Motor Plaza's number 26 car. Johnny Beisel out of Lacka, Wixon, Pennsylvania. The Beisel's Garage number 81 car on the outside of row number 1. Tommy Hall being set back to 3rd spot for jumping the original restart. And the number 4 car. Caution lights get turned out. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car back down to the inside. Tom Foley, the good running small block modified star out here this year, got himself the pacing duties right now. Foley brings him out of turn number 4 this time. Green lights come on. We go back to racing. Tom Foley securing that number 1 spot. Johnny Beisel looks down to the inside. And spot number 2. Jimmy Hauser back there in the 3rd spot. The HP2 car drops down to the inside groove. Back in spot number 3. Jerry Huber is 4th, and Tommy Hall back there in spot number 5. Howie Finch, the Countryside Oil car, 1 spot from qualifying right now. He comes on to the inside to pick up spot number 5 against Tommy Hall. Tom Foley stretching out the number 1 spot. Johnny Beisel back there in spot number 2. Jimmy Hauser still third. Gary Huber running in 4th right now. The Magnum Fabrications car. Kelly Finch back there in spot number 5. And here comes Ralph Hetzler, the Montgomery Collision 17 car, needing one more spot to pick up a qualifying picture. Watch Ralph Hetzler as he drops down to the inside against Howie Finch. Hetzler, the Montgomery number 17 machine. Running back there in spot number 6 right now. He looks to the outside. Finch drops down to the inside. The Countryside Oil car from Haynesville, New Jersey. Coming up on the halfway point this time. Halfway coming up. Race leader down there in turns 3 and 4. The 26 car, Tom Foley. Johnny Beisel motoring well back in spot number 2. Third spot is Jimmy Hauser, the Hauser Brothers HB2 car. Huber still back there in spot number 4. Huber looks down to the inside against Jimmy Hauser. Coming out of turn number 2. Hauser holds on to the number 3 spot. Huber 4th, and here comes Howie Finch back in spot number 5. Finch tries to close the gap back there in the final transfer spot. The hot seat position with Ralph Hetzler breathing right behind. Foley with a straightaway lead right now in the number 1 spot. Beisel still second. Hauser dropping down to the inside. Johnny Beisel, the Beisel's garage car, holds on to the number 2 spot. Look out, the Tango going down the back straightaway. Howie Finch bumping against the 357 car. And the yellow light's going to come on. Yellow light's coming out for the 25 of Howie Finch. 6 laps have now been complete. 6 down and 2. Fulton Chevrolet police car. Back down to the inside. The caution lights get turned out. Tom Foley brings them down in turns number 3 and 4. Green flag comes out. We go back to racing. Foley holding on to the number 1 spot. Beisel back there in second. Huber against Hauser for the number 3 spot. Hauser keeps it hooked up on the outside as they motor down the back straightaway. Jimmy Hauser, the HB2 car, looking for the white flag this time around. Hauser gets by Johnny Beisel for spot number 2. Hauser resting up on the outside groove. Johnny Beisel, the Beisel's garage car, down to the inside for spot number 3. White flag comes out. 1 more lap to go. Tommy Hall beginning to show some signs of smoke on that car to try and hold on to a qualifying position. Beisel drops off the pace just for a second. Gary Huber gets by in the 357 car for spot number 3. Checkered flag coming out this time. Checkered flags are waving. The winner of heat number 4 for the small block modified, the 26 of Tom Foley. Second spot, the HB2 Jimmy Hauser. Third, it's Gary Huber. 4th, Johnny Beisel, followed by the 4 car, Tommy Hall. Followed back in row number 5 by the 27 Stevie Botcher. That's how they're set to go racing right now. Big block modified style for the first of 4 big block heats out here tonight. 8 laps, 5 cars qualify. And the Fulton Chevrolet pace car drops down to the inside. We're looking for the green flag this time as Bobby Decker, the Walsh Racing 703 car, brings him out of turn number 4. Green flag flies and we go racing. Tommy Hager, the 43 car, grabs the number 1 spot. Hager on the outside, looking for the lead down the back straightaway. Bobby Decker back there in second. Stan Sherman third. Jerry Higbee dropping off the pace going down the back straightaway as Dirk Adrians gets by. Hearn working well on the inside against Richie Urich. Urich, the Baskin-Robbins ice cream car on the outside for spot number 6. Hearn picks up the number 5 spot right now, and the race for the lead going on the inside. Bobby Decker on the outside. Tommy Hager. Wheel. They take him out of turn number 2 this time. Hager with the advantage over Decker motoring down the back straightaway. Decker back there in the number 2 spot. Stan Sherman is third. Brett Hearn back there in spot number 4. Dirk Adrians, the dollar sign car, back in spot number 5. Tommy Hager keeps it working up on the outside, down the home straightaway. Hager holds on to the lead. Decker is second. Sherman third, and Brett Hearn motoring very quickly on the outside. Hearn takes the Freightliner Express up to the outside lane, going down the back straightaway, drops back down to the inside, looks for the spot number 3 against Stan Sherman. Hearn picks up the 3rd spot. Sherman 4th. Adrians back there in spot number 5. Hager brings him down the home straightaway. Bobby Decker back there in second. Brett Hearn back in spot number 3. Sherman holds on to the number 4 spot. Adrians back in spot number 5. And Urich 1 spot from qualifying, back in spot number 6. Tommy Hager knows that the heat is on. Bobby Decker right there like a shadow in spot number 2, but here comes Hearn to the inside. The halfway point coming out. Brett Hearn slingshots down to the inside, and the drag race is on down the home straightaway. Hager holds on to the number 1 spot. Hearn working well back there in spot number 2. Hearn drops down to the inside. Hager keeps the horsepower up on the outside, motoring down the back straightaway. Here comes Brett Hearn on the inside. Hearn down low right now for the number 1 spot, and he grabs the lead away from Tommy Hager. Hager back there in the number 2 spot. Bobby Decker still third. Sherman fourth right now. And Richie Urich back there in spot number 5. The Countryside Royal number 10 car. Bill Cherry, last Saturday night's feature winner, needing one more spot to pick up a qualifying picture. Coming up on 2 laps to go, 2 to go this time around for race leader Brett Hearn. Hearn brings him on the outside, down in turns number 3 and 4 right now. The 2 lap to go sign coming out. Tommy Hager still second. Bobby Decker third. Stan Sherman is fourth. Richie Urich back there in spot number 5, looking very good for a qualifying position out here tonight. Bill Cherry, 1 spot from qualifying. White flag coming out this time. White flag comes out. 1 more lap to go for race leader Brett Hearn. Hearn stretching out the number 1 spot. Hager still second. Decker is third. Sherman back there in spot number 4. And Urich in the Baskin-Robbins car back in spot number 5. Checkered flag coming out this time. The winner of the first Big Block Modified Heat event, the 6 car, Brett Hearn. Second spot, it's going to be a close one for the 43, Tommy Hager. Third spot, Bobby Decker, followed by Stan Sherman and Richie Urich. So the ride into tonight's budget beverages 30-lap Big Block Modified feature event. Built-in Chevrolet pace car drops down to the inside. And the Belvedere Bandit set to go racing right now. The Harmony Sand and Gravel 71 Heat car. Carl Van Horn. Van Horn, the ageless veteran, coming out of turn number 4 this time. Handing over the facing Rudy the green flag prize, and we go racing. Van Horn on the inside. Sean George back there in spot number 2. Brought the Ford power plant of Jeff Hetzler working well in spot number 3. Keep your eyes on Frank Cozy, making some very daring maneuvers right now. 3 abreast down the back straightaway for spot number 5. But the leader being put up for grabs this time. Sean George on the inside. Carl Van Horn on the outside. George powering that S&S car down the home straightaway right now. The S&S Custom Homes machine putting up the fight right now for the number 1 spot. Carl Van Horn holds on to the number 1 spot as they motor down the back straightaway. Sean George is second. Hetzler third. Wilson back there in spot number 4. Frank Cozy all the way back in spot number 5. Cozy, who started this heat event in last position, all the way up to a qualifying position so far. Van Horn holds on to the lead. Sean George is second. Hetzler takes the Ford power plant down to the inside for spot number 2. Jeff Hetzler, the Smith Brothers concrete car, back there in spot number 2. Frank Cozy grabs spot number 4. Carl Van Horn knows he's got his work cut out for him right now as Jeff Hetzler coming on very strong back in spot number 2. Hetzler back there in the second spot. Hetzler looks down to the inside against Carl Van Horn. Horn keeps it up on the outside this time. Side by side, they take it down the back straightaway. Jeff Hetzler on the inside. Van Horn on the outside. Van Horn not backing down to the Ford power plant of Jeff Hetzler. Here we come. The drag race is on. And at the halfway point, Jeff Hetzler with a slight advantage over Carl Van Horn. Van Horn not backing down. He rides the rim shot down in turns number 1 and 2. But here comes Frank Cozy. Cozy working on the outside. As usual, high driving style. Takes over spot number 3 right now. Jeff Hetzler grabs the lead. Carl Van Horn is second. Look out for Frank Cozy up on the outside for spot number 3. Sean George back there in spot number 4. Billy Wilson back in spot number 5. Carl Van Horn back there in second spot right now. Feels the heat from the Canaiso 72 car. Frank Cozy. Cozy winds it up down the back straightaway, shoots down to the inside. Coming up on 2 laps to go. 2 to go this time around. And a hot shoe jumping. Jeff Hetzler takes him on the outside, coming down the home straightaway. Hetzler holds on to a great job for the lead. Carl Van Horn still second. Frank Cozy back there in third. Sean George is fourth, and Billy Wilson rounds out the top 5. 5 cars will qualify. Time running out for Frank Cozy back there in that third spot. Cozy eyeing up the second spot right now against Carl Van Horn. The white flag coming out this time. White flag out. 1 more lap to go. Jeff Hetzler out for a Saturday night cruise. Carl Van Horn very good back there in spot number 2. A strong running order for him. Frank Cozy back there in third. Sean George is fourth, and Billy Wilson rounds out the qualifying picture. Checkered flag getting set to fly this time. The winner of the second big block modified qualifying event, the 74th car, Jeff Hetzler. Second spot, Carl Van Horn. Third, Frank Cozy. Fourth, Sean George, followed by Billy Wilson. Billy Horton, followed by the 747, Dan McKiernan. Well, they're set to go racing right now for the third qualifying event for the big block modifieds, as the Fulton Chevrolet pace car gets set to drop down to the inside. Bruce Klein out of Bangor, Pennsylvania, being matched against the Budget Beverages number 88 car. Frank Jazombowski on the outside. Frankie J in that Hollywood Express car. Here he comes, down the home straightaway. Green flag flies in the Budget Beverages 88 car. Frank Jazombowski wastes no time at all, grabbing the number 1 spot. Scotty Goodrich in second. Here comes Dwayne Howard on the inside and Jimmy Horton on the outside. Horton all the way up to the number 4 spot already after starting back in spot number 8, and the active 2 car is working out here this evening. Frank Jazombowski comes down the home straightaway right now, the number 1 spot. Scotty Goodrich still second. Dwayne Howard is third. Jimmy Horton back there in spot number 4, followed by the 59 car, Bruce Klein. Klein on the inside feels the challenge right now from the 8 of Mike Rickey, and Rickey grabs the final qualifying position. Frank Jazombowski from right here in Middletown, New York, holding on to a nice number 1 spot with the Budget Beverages number 88 car. Scotty Goodrich still second. Dwayne Howard out of Oley, Pennsylvania, looks down to the inside against Scott Goodrich for spot number 2. Goodrich keeps it working on the outside, holds on to the runner-up position. Howard back there in 3rd spot. Jimmy Horton back in spot number 4, and Bruce Klein back in spot number 5. Frank Jazombowski securing that number 1 spot, but the challenge is on for spot number 2 as Scotty Goodrich holds off the hard-charging Dwayne Howard. Howard dives back down to the inside, the PRB Racing 14 car, but Goodrich already got the horsepower up there where he needs them, up on the outside groove, and he holds on to the number 2 spot. Halfway point coming up this time, halfway, 4 laps down, and 4 to go. The challenge once again for the number 2 spot, Dwayne Howard on the inside, Scott Goodrich on the outside, Jimmy Horton back there in the number 4 spot. Horton closing in right now on the active disposal, active 2 car. Frank Jazombowski losing a handle on it for just a second. And a flat tire being reported for Frank Jazombowski, and a tough break for the Budget Beverages 88 car as he tries to get out of harm's way, but a lot of racing going on. Down the home straightaway as Dwayne Howard grabs the number 1 spot. Jimmy Horton now takes over spot number 2. Scotty Goodrich is third. And you can see right now a flat right rear tire for the number 88 car of Frank Jazombowski as he comes to a rest down here in turn number 1. Meanwhile, race leader Dwayne Howard coming down the home straightaway right now out of Oley, Pennsylvania. The Towback Sports Warehouse 14 machine. Jimmy Horton looking very good back there in spot number 2. Scotty Goodrich is third. Kyle Pittenger back in spot number 4. Bruce Klein rounds out the top 5 running order. Klein to Todd's Auto Body. Van Horn Racing Engines, number 59 car, holds on to the final qualifying position. White flag comes out. 1 more lap to go for race leader Dwayne Howard. Howard in his first year of competition here at the Orange County Speedway. A very good, successful runner on the old PA Tri-Track circuit earlier last year, and he's made his home here at Orange County this year. And out here to gather a heat win this evening. Here he comes out of turn number 4, the winner of heat number 3, the 14, Dwayne Howard. Second spot is Jimmy Horton. Fourth spot, Scotty Goodrich, followed by Carl Pittenger and Bruce Klein. So there you have it, the winner once again, big block modified, heat number 3, the 14 of Dwayne Howard. Second spot was Jimmy Horton, right here in Middletown, New York, right next door to the Colonial Diner. Good stop you might want to stop at after the final checkered flag out here tonight. But Budget Beverages, discount beverages, by the can, by the case, by the keg, they've got it. And Budget Express Deli, your full-service deli stop, sandwiches and cigarettes, plus a whole lot more. Well, the Fulton Chevrolet pace car gets the word right now to take it back down to the infield. Heat number 4 for the big block modifieds, now up on tap. And Gary Edwards, the L&S Thompson & Sons, number 21 car, coming down to the inside of turns number 3 and 4. The green machine on the outside. Starter Kenny Marshall looks him over, coming down the straightaway this time, and we've got a start. Here we go. Edwards on the inside. Robbie Green on the outside. And Green works his way up to the number 1 spot. Robbie Green, now your leader. Here comes the 702 on the outside of Chuck McKee. McKee grabbing the number 2 spot. Gary Edwards back there in third. Chris Tuthill fourth. And Sammy Rogers drops down to the inside. Rogers, the Miller Genuine Draft car, looking for a qualifying position. Race leader Robbie Green brings him down the home straightaway. Chuck McKee, the 702 machine, back there in spot number 2. Chris Tuthill side by side with Gary Edwards for spot number 3. Edwards drops up to third spot. Tuthill fourth. Sammy Rogers back there in spot number 5. Robbie Green feeling the heat right now from the 702 car. Chuck McKee running a strong second place. Third spot going up for grabs as Chris Tuthill looks down to the inside against Gary Edwards. Edwards on the outside, Tuthill on the inside. Wheel to wheel, down in turns number 1 and 2 right now. Edwards keeps it honking up on the rim shot as he picks up the number 3 spot. Tuthill back in spot number 4. Sammy Rogers back in spot number 5. And Toby Tobias, 1 spot from qualifying. The battle going on right now for the number 1 spot. McKee works up to the outside. Robbie Green down low. Robbie Green takes the green machine down to the inside. But here comes Chuck McKee on the outside. And McKee grabs the number 1 spot. Robbie Green now second. Gary Edwards third. Tuthill fourth. Sammy Rogers back there in spot number 5. Coming up on the halfway point this time. 4 laps down and 4 to go. Chuck McKee, the Bros Racing 702 car, holds on to the number 1 spot. Robbie Green, the Tops electrical machine, back there in spot number 2. Chris Tuthill holds on to spot number 3. Sammy Rogers fourth and Toby Tobias Jr. back there in spot number 5. The Romeo Racing 44 car. Chuck McKee, very strong down there in turns number 3 and 4 as he rides the outside right now on the number 1 spot. Robbie Green trying to close the gap back there in spot number 2. Third spot, Chris Tuthill. 4th place going up for grabs between Sammy Rogers and Toby Tobias Jr. Tobias looks to the outside. Rogers down to the inside, but Tobias goes just a little bit too high. Holds on to the qualifying spot number 5. Coming up on 2 laps to go. 2 to go this time around for race leader Chuck McKee. McKee brings the 702 out to the high side. Coming down the home straightaway. Robbie Green still second. Sammy Rogers down to the inside. Picking up spot number 3 against Chris Tuthill. And Tobias back there in spot number 5. Rogers now grabs the 3rd spot. Tuthill 4th. And here comes Toby back in spot number 5. White flag coming out this time. White flag comes out. 7 laps down. 1 more to go. And Chuck McKee brings him down the home straightaway. Robbie Green still second. Tobias gets down underneath Chris Tuthill for spot number 4. Tuthill dropping off the pace, trying to hold on to that qualifying position. Last lap racing action right now. Down the back straightaway. Chuck McKee holds on to the lead. Robbie Green second. Rogers third. Tobias fourth. And Tuthill back there in spot number 5. Checkered flag waving this time. The black and whites are out. The winner of heat number 4, the 702 of Chuck McKee. Second spot, Robbie Green. Third, Sammy Rogers. Fourth, Toby Tobias Jr., followed by Chris Tuthill. Now to run in some of the moisture that was laid down during intermission. Of course, the track prep crews had tidied things up a bit. Chuck McKee in the Bros Racing 702 car. He's your pole sitter for this event. Jeff Hetzler, the Ford Power Plant, brought to us by Smith Brothers Concrete Foundations. He'll be on the outside. Brett Hearn from Vernon, New Jersey with the Freightliner Trucks and Newburgh number 6 car. He'll be starting on the inside of row number 2. Then by luck of the draw from Wind Gap, Pennsylvania, the 72 car brought to us by Kneissel Speed and Sport. Behind the wheel, the ever so colorful Frank Cozy. 74 car, Chuck McKee, a real good runner here in the Big Block Modified Division on the inside, the pole starter in this event. Caution lights have now been turned out. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car moves down to the inside. Here we come for 4 laps of all-out dash for cash action. Chuck McKee on the inside, Jeff Hetzler on the outside. Little turn number 4, the green flag flies, and here we go. Chuck McKee grabs the number 1 spot, but here comes Brett Hearn up to the tail side. Hearn closes in very quickly. Back in spot number 2, he looks to the outside, going down the back straightaway. McKee moves up to the outside, and the bottom door is open for Brett Hearn. Hearn doesn't stop a bit, but McKee tangles down in turn number 3. Yellow light's going to come on as Chuck McKee went just a little bit too high down there in turn number 3. And McKee tangled with the concrete down there in the 3rd turn area. That brings out current dash for cash race leader. Jeff Hetzler on the outside in the number 74 car. Frank Cozy back there with the Kneissel Speed and Sport 72 machine. Fulton Chevrolet pace car moves back down to the inside. We're ready for some hard and tough racing action in the Big Block Modified Dash for Cash, the Trailer King Dash for Cash, and we're set to go racing this time. Fulton Chevrolet pace car back down to the inside. Brett Hearn brings him down on a turn number 4. Inside flies, and we go back to racing. Hearn back to the number 1 spot. Hetzler right there in the shadow for spot number 2. Cozy back there in the 3rd spot as he moves up to the outside. Down the back straightaway they go, and Hearn pulls away from the rest of the pack. Hearn stretching out the number 1 spot with a Freightliner Trucks and Newberg number 6 car. Looking at the halfway point this time around. 2 laps down and 2 to go for the leader, Brett Hearn. Jeff Hetzler back there in the Ford-powered Smith Brothers number 74 car. Hearn rides the number 1 spot, going down the back straightaway. Hetzler back there in the rocking chair, spot number 2, and Cozy all by his lonesome, back there in that 3rd spot, who got the start by luck of the draw. White flag coming out this time. White flag comes out. 3 laps down and 1 to go for race leader Brett Hearn. Hearn holds on at the number 1 spot as he goes to the outside. Down in turns number 1 and 2. Jeff Hetzler knows it's time to play catch-up as they motor down the back straightaway. Checkered flag coming out this time. Hearn takes him down to the inside, down in turns number 3 and 4. The winner of the Trailer King Big Block Modified Dash for Cash, the number 6 of Brett Hearn. 2nd spot is Jeff Hetzler. 3rd spot, Frank Cozy. Brett Hearn rolling down to victory lane right now in the Freightliner Trucks and Newberg number 6 car. Jeff Hetzler was 2nd, Frank Cozy 3rd, and of course Chuck McKee then back in 4th spot. But Hearn wheels the Ford Pro body number 6 car in the victory lane right now. Oh, here he is climbing out of the car, the winner of the Trailer King Dash for Cash, Brett Hearn. Well, Brett, after 2 weeks of looking for a checkered flag, it looks like you finally turned things around for the Big Block Modified.
Well, I think we finally got an engine that's running pretty good, and, the cars always work good. We just got to get this engine to stay together, and it feels good right now.
Well, a heat win, a Dash for Cash win, and it could be number 100 out here tonight.
I'd like to get that out of the way, just for the sake of saying I got it out of the way,
Well, you're certainly on your way out here tonight. Congratulations once again, Brett Hearn, winner of the Trailer King Big Block Dash for Cash, and Jeff Hetzler, Brett just got out a little bit too early for you to play catch-up.
Well, yeah, what happened? The racetrack wasn't really ready to race on. There's a bunch of water in it and stuff, so, I wanted to take it easy. I didn't want to end up like Mr. McKee there, the poor guy. I feel sorry. I had to trash his car for a Dash for Cash. That's not right.
How does the Ford power plant feel for feature event time?
Oh, not too bad. I think we'll be right there. Right now I got a new carburetor on, and it's just not right. I'm going to go back to the old one, see what happens.
Okay, so a little bit of turning of the screws back there, and you could be in feature event.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
Okay, there you have it. Jeff Hetzler, who finished 2nd in that event. Frank Cozy with the Pontiac body number 72 car. You got in here by luck of the draw, and you had a chance to maybe set yourself up now for feature event time.
Yeah, well, that's all you can use it for. It's a little slippery, so just got to watch yourself.
Got to watch yourself out of the outside there tonight, huh?
You got to watch yourself all over.
Well, you're looking real good so far, and certainly one of the brought to us once again by Budget Beverages and Budget Express Deli from right here in Middletown, New York. 8 laps, 6 cars will qualify. And a very full-fielded consolation away soon at Rolling Wheels. We'll be taking 8 cars out of this event, 8 cars to start 28 tonight. Meanwhile, the Fulton Chevrolet pace car swings down to the inside. And Billy Eggers in the Pet Parrot Racing Automatic 72 car brings him down on a turn number 4. Started City Marshall got a green flag up in the air, and we go racing. Joe Sarvis, the Dini Engineering 94 car grabs the number 1 spot. Jeff Hetzler down to the inside. Billy Eggers on the outside. Down the back straightaway, but we've got problems. Down between turns number 1 and 2. The yellow lights come back on. Caution lights on around the Speedway right now. We've got a picnic down there between turns number 1 and 2. We see the 25 of Howie Finch, 73 Johnny Marsh. We think the 91 of Pete Hissam, the 24K Kirk Van Duzer. The Speedway right now, Joe Sarvis is on the outside with that Dini Engineering number 94 car. Sarpin. We're going to try it once again as one lap has been scored, one down and 9 to go in this 8-lap consolation event. Rundown 7 to go. Consolation event for the small block modifieds. And the Fulton Chevrolet pace car now moves back down to the inside. Caution lights have been turned out. We're looking back for green flag racing this time. Here they come down the home straightaway. And Joe Sarvis on the inside. Billy Eggers on the outside. Eggers takes the high side out to the number 1 spot. Ed Zachary working up on the outside of the Barron's number 156 car. Down the back straightaway they motor. Joe Sarvis grabs the runner-up spot. Sarvis back there in spot number 2. Zachary now third. Mikey DePalma back there in spot number 4. Jeff Hetzler rounds out the top 5 running order right now. Hetzler back there in the Smith Brothers concrete number 74 machine. Joe Barron then 6th. Ralph Hetzler is 7th. And Carl Van Horn back there in spot number 8. Mike DePalma comes down to the inside to pick up spot number 3 away from Ed Zachary, but the bottom side open for Jeff Hetzler. Hetzler making some tracks on the inside groove as he wheels up to the inside of Ed Zachary, looking for spot number 4. Race leader Billy Eggers and Pat Barrett, racing automatics, mainly 72 car. Eggers holding on to the lead. Sarvis back there in second. Yellow lights coming on. We got problems down here in turn number 3. 7M of Chris Tuthill getting sideways down there going into turn number 3. And that brings out the yellow lights right now. 3 laps have been complete, 3 down and 5 to go. Side from Spring Valley, New York with the 156 car. Caution lights have now been turned out. We're set to go back to green flag racing. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car moves back down to the inside. Eggers knows it's time to go racing. Sarvis on the outside. Going to look for the number 1 spot this time. Here we come on turn number 4. The green flag flies and we go back to racing. Eggers keeps the edge on the inside. Look out for Van Derek as he gets up into the high side, but he holds on to it. Down the back straightaway, they motor this time. Sarvis back in spot number 2. And DePalma looking onto the inside for the 3rd spot. Zachary on the outside, back there in spot number 4. As the 2 brothers Hetzler race against each other back there for spot number 5. Jeff Hetzler on the inside, the 74 car. Hetzler now takes over spot number 4. Jeff Hetzler moves up to the outside. Lots of hard racing going on back there for the qualifying positions. Jeff Hetzler making some moves out on the outside for the number 2 spot. DePalma 3rd, Sarvis 4th. Look out for Ralph Hetzler down the back straightaway. The yellow lights coming on. Midway down the back straightaway. It all started with Pat Van Derek, followed by Carl Van Horn and Johnny Marsh. Track clear once again. The caution lights have now been turned out. We're set to go back to green flag racing. Fulton Chevrolet pace car moves down to the inside line. Hands over to pacing duties right now to Billy Eggers in the Pat Barrett Racing Automatics car. Here we come on a turn number 4. The green flag flies and here we go. Hetzler makes a move to the outside, but Eggers got the guns loaded this time. They take him wheel to wheel on a turn number 2 down the back straightaway. The drag race is on. Hetzler easing up to the number 1 spot on the outside, stands on it going down in turns number 3 and 4. Jeff Hetzler grabs the number 1 spot. Billy Eggers back there in the number 2 go round. 2 more laps to go this time. 6 down, 2 to go. Mike DePalma holds on to 3rd. Joe Sarvis is 4th. Robbie Green back in spot number 5. Ed Zachary is 6th right now. Joe Garrett 7th. And Pat Van Derek in spot number 8. White flag going to fly this time. White flag's coming out. One more time around for race leader Jeff Hetzler in the Smith Brothers Concrete Foundation's number 74 car. Billy Eggers back here in 2nd. Robbie Green winning in 3rd right now. The TNT Ignitions number 68 car. Joe Sarvis is 4th. Mike DePalma back there in spot number 5. Checkered flag getting set to fly this time. The winner of the small block modified consolation, the number 74 car, Jeff Hetzler. 2nd spot, the 72, Billy Eggers. 3rd, Robbie Green. 4th, Joe Sarvis. 5th is Mike DePalma, followed by Ed Zachary, Johnny Marsh, and Joe Garin. The 7 of Jerry Higby. Final row in car number 88, Frank Jazombowski. Well, it looks like the 2 Higby brother cars are out there on the Speedway right now, and my guess would be that Rich Rickey Sr. is back in the 97 car. Jerry Higbee probably in the 91 car, although we've got Jerry listed for both rides out here tonight. We'll qualify. The caution lights have now been turned out, and the Fulton Chevrolet pace car will be set to take to the infield this time. Bill Cherry, your pole sitter. Rich Ricky Jr., the Pleasant Valley Ford powered number 28 car on the outside. Here we come, down in turns number 3 and 4 this time. Starter Kenny Marshall got the green flag in the air. They come on to turn number 4. Bill Cherry grabs the number 1 spot, and we go racing. Cherry up to the outside, grabs the number 1 spot. Rich Ricky Jr. drops down to the inside. Brother Mike Ricky right there like a shadow in spot number 3. Gary Edwards back there in spot number 4. Ralph Hetzler rounds out the top 5. Here we come, down in turns number 3 and 4 this time. Let's put 1 lap up on the chalkboard, the 8-lap consolation event. Bill Cherry rolls down the home straightaway, holds on to the number 1 spot. Rich Ricky Jr. back there in spot number 2. Mike Ricky currently running in 3rd right now. Gary Edwards is 4th. Marty Ball makes a break to the inside with the Monterey Lodge M6 car. Wants to make a break into the top 5 action. Ralph Hetzler holds on to the number 5 spot right now. Marty Ball is 6th. Dirk Adrians back there in spot number 7. Cherry holds on to the number 1 spot. Cherry trying to stretch out the number 1 spot, while the brothers Ricky back there in spots number 2 and 3. Rich Ricky Jr. moves to the outside. Mike Ricky right there like a heartbeat in spot number 3. Gary Edwards still 4th. Ralph Hetzler back in spot number 5. Marty Hall is 6th. Dirk Adrians, the dollar sign car, back there in spot number 7. Rich Ricky Sr. is 8th. Mike Ricky drops down to the inside to put a challenge on with winner Rich Ricky. Mike Ricky on the inside, Rich Ricky Jr. on the outside. Wheel to wheel, the brothers battle down the back straightaway for the number 2 spot. Coming up to the halfway point this time. Halfway, 4 laps down and 4 to go. Bill Cherry knows that a lot of racing going on down to the backside of him. Cherry holds on to the number 1 spot, and Rich Ricky Jr. holds on to the number 2 spot. Mike Ricky currently running in 3rd. Gary Edwards 4th, Ralph Hetzler back there in spot number 5. Marty Hall is 6th. Dirk Adrians in spot number 7. Rich Ricky Sr. is 8th, and here comes Stevie Botcher back there in the number 27 car. Botcher, 1 more spot till he gets himself a qualifying starting spot. Here we come on a turn number 4 this time. Race leader Bill Cherry brings him down the home straightaway. Cherry holds on to the lead with a very consistent lead right now in the 2nd spot, runner Rich Ricky Jr. Rich back there in the number 2 spot. Mike Ricky is 3rd. Ralph Hetzler still 4th, and Gary Edwards rounds out the top 5. Marty Hall 6th. Dirk Adrian 7th. And Rich Ricky Sr. back there in spot number 8. The 8th spot, the hot seat out there right now, and that's the spot where all the racing's going on. Stevie Botcher tries to close into the tail side on Rich Ricky Sr. for a qualifying starting position. 2 laps to go. 2 to go this time, and watch the racing going on by Stevie Botcher and Rich Ricky Sr. Ricky with a Higbee Brothers car seems to have spot number 8 all sewed up. The white flag coming out this time. White flag comes out. Last lap posting action as Bill Cherry comes down the home straightaway. Rich Ricky Jr. 2nd. Mike Ricky still 3rd. Ralph Hetzler back there in the number 4 spot. Edwards is 5th. Marty Hall back there in spot number 6. Dirk Adrian then 7th, and Rich Ricky Sr. in spot number 8. Down the back straightaway they go there. Checkered flag coming out this time. The black and whites are all in the eyes of Bill Cherry as Bill Cherry walks on with a consolation win. Rich Ricky Jr. 2nd. Mike Ricky is 3rd. Ralph Hetzler 4th. Gary Edwards 5th. Marty Hall then 6th. Dirk Adrians in 7th. And Jerry Higbee.
Their top 5 point status, starting in spot number 29, will be the Montgomery Collision number 17 of Ralph Hetzler. And your final starter, spot number 30, the Countryside Oil number 25, Howie Finch. 30 cars to go 30 laps. And when the green flag flies, Tim will tell you all about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Rich. And of course, 30 laps of small block modified. Future excitement out here tonight. Double track points plus a Syracuse guaranteed starting spot going up to boot. Well, we do have 3 small block modified campaigners starting this feature, which already do have guaranteed starting spots for these small block ranks. Brett Hearn, Mike Ricky, and Sean George are all guaranteed starting spotters already. Now, if one of those 3 would happen to win tonight's feature, the guaranteed starting spot would then be put back to the next available driver. Caution lights have now been turned out. We're set to go. Green flag racing. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car moves down to the inside. Bobby Cronk, now the pole sitter and the pace setter. He brings them down in turns number 3 and 4. Johnny Bison on the outside. Here we come on a turn number 4. Green flag flies and we go racing. Tommy Borrego, the RCR excavating number 8 car, grabs the number 1 spot. Bobby Cronk back there in second. Jimmy Johnson, the Jim Smith Chevrolet car, grabs the number 3 spot. Tommy Hall, the Precision Alignment Paladine, number 4 car, starting to show a little bit of smoke down there in turns number 3 and 4. Here we come on a turn number 4 this time, putting rock number 1 upon the old chalkboard. The race leader, Tom Borrego. Borrego behind the wheel of the RCR excavating number 8 car. Bobby Cronk is second. Here we go for spot number 3 right now. Rusher makes a move to the outside. 3 cars are looking for the number 3 spot. Jimmy Johnson drops back to spot number 4. Coming down the home straightaway this time. Tom Borrego holds on the lead. Round spotter is Gary Rusher in the 44L car. And Steve Todd, the Chester Hardware 22 machine, now makes a move to spot number 4. Down the back straightaway, Gary Lusher comes alive in spot number 2. Lusher makes a move right now past Bobby Cronk for the 2nd spot. First spot, it's all going out to Tommy Borrego as they move down the home straightaway. Gary Lusher is 2nd, Bobby Cronk 3rd, Steve Todd is 4th, Jimmy Johnson back there in spot number 5. Frank Cozy, the 74J car, back there in spot number 6 right now. And Steve Dodd wheels that Chester Hardware 22 car up for the number 2 spot. Here we come this time. The battle is on for the number 1 spot. Rusher on the outside. Borrego down low. Tommy Borrego holds on to the lead. Gary Lusher still 2nd. Steve Dodd is 3rd. Bobby Cronk back there in spot number 4. Jimmy Johnson back in spot number 5. And Frank Cozy up to the outside group. But the door gets closed by Johnson down the back straightaway. Watch the battle take place once again for the number 1 spot. Tom Borrego and Gary Lusher. Lusher moves up to the rim shot. Here he comes down the home straightaway. And Lusher and Borrego side by side. Gary Lusher on a Hawthorne, New Jersey wheels the Hayes Camps number 44L up to the number 1 spot. 2nd spot now it's Tom Borrego. Steve Dodd is 3rd. Frank Cozy now gets by Bobby Cronk for spot number 4. Bobby Cronk, the K3 car, rounding out the top 5 running order right now, and race leader Gary Lusher coming down the home straightaway. Lusher in that Hayes Camps Mobile Mothers Performance 44L car, stretching out the number 1 spot. Here comes Steve Todd, the Round Plumbing Chester Hardware 22 car. Todd makes a break for the top 2 right now on the outside. Tommy Borrego back in 3rd. Frank Cozy out of Witten Gap, Pennsylvania, the Reclamation 74J car. He's back there in spot number 4 and closing in very, very quickly. Cozy looks to the outside of the RCR excavating number 8 machine. Borrego hangs in down low. Cozy builds up the horsepower on the high side and he grabs the number 3 spot. Yellow lights coming on. Caution around the Speedway. Well, after 8 laps, your current feature event leader, the number 44L of Gary Lusher. 2nd spot, the Chester Hardware, number 22 of Steve Dodd. 3rd spot, the 74J Frank Cozy. 4th place, as it turned out, the Fulton Chevrolet pace car moves back down to the inside. Set to go back to racing. 8 down, 22 to go, the small block modifieds. Looking for that guaranteed starting spot for Syracuse. Here we come on a turn number 4. Green flag flies and we're back to racing. Gary Lusher wasting no time at all, grabbing the number 1 spot. Dodd working well on the outside line. Frank Cozy right there like a shadow in spot number 3. Here comes Mike Ricky. Ricky coming through the pack very, very quickly. Back there in the number 87 car. Now up there in spot number 4, Tom Borrego back in spot number 5. Remember, Ricky already has a starting spot for Syracuse. The 2nd place battle is on. Cozy drops down to the inside. The Reclamation 74J car. Steve Dodd holds on to that runner-up battle with a 22 machine. Mike Ricky gets around the outside. Frank Cozy for spot number 3. Yellow lights gonna come back out. We got problems down there in turns 1 and 2. Yellow lights on around the Speedway. That 23 car, Mike DePalma. Tacoma and the Templates Auto Wrecking 23 machine from Goshen, New York, number 1 spot. And how many think Gary Lusher can walk home with a small block feature win out here tonight? How many Frank Cozy fans we got out there? How about Steve Dodd in the 22 car? Helbig, Bobby Crunk make up row number 4. Caution lights have now been turned out. 10 laps down, 20 more times around. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car moves down to the inside. Gary Lusher knows it's time to go racing. And the hot shoes right there on him in the shadows. Coming out of turn number 4 this time. The green lights come on. Very well. And Lusher feels the heat on the outside from Steve Dodd. Here we come down the home straightaway. Gary Lusher, but we've got problems down in turns 1 and 2. Off right now, he'll be rejoining the tail side of the field. Cozy and Tom Perego in row number 3. Caution lights now get turned out. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car heads back to the inside. Gary Lusher out of Hawthorne, New Jersey knows it's time to go racing. Lusher comes down to the inside. Here he comes down the home straightaway. The green lights go on. Gary Lusher, the 44L car, grabs back the number 1 spot. 3 cars right there behind him, all looking for the number 1 spot. Steve Dodd, here comes Mike Rickey on the inside. Rickey, the Duchess overhead door car. The bottom side is open. Brett Hearn makes it 3 abreast, going down in turns number 3 and 4. Hearn wheels the Freightliner Express down to the inside, and the drag race now on for the number 1 spot. 4 cars, and the heat is on. Gary Lusher on the outside. Hearn down to the inside. Steve Dodd way out to the outside groove. Down the back straightaway. Gary Lusher on the outside. Brett Hearn on the inside, and they look for the number 1 spot. Lusher bearing out very well the battle against Brett Hearn. Hearn in the inside groove coming down the home straightaway. And Hearn with a very slight advantage over Gary Lusher heading to turns number 1 and 2. Hearn picks up the number 1 spot. Gary Lusher is second. Mike Rickey back there in third. Steve Dodd fourth. And Frank Cozy back there in spot number 5. Stevie Botcher, the RJL Express, back there in spot number 6. Here we come out of turn number 4 this time. Brett Hearn holds on to the number 1 spot. Gary Lusher still second. Mike Rickey right there on the tail side with the Duchess number 87 car. Mike Rickey back there in third spot. Steve Dodd is fourth. Frank Cozy back in spot number 5. Stevie Botcher is 6th. Tom Perego 7th. Sean George back there in spot number 8. Ralph Hetzler, spot number 9 on the inside with Chris Whitehead in the number 10 running order right now. Hearn comes up to the back markers, puts a lap on Jimmy Helzer in the HB2 car. Mike Rickey getting by the 44L car for spot number 2. Rickey now running in second. Gary Lusher is third. Steve Dodd still fourth, followed by the 74J Frank Cozy. Coming up on the halfway point this time. Halfway, 15 down, 15 to go as Hearn brings him down the home straightaway. Hearn holds on to the lead now, stretching out the number 1 spot. Second spot still Mike Rickey. Third, it's Gary Lusher. Steve Dodd back there in the number 4 go round. Frank Cozy, the Reclamation, 74J car, wraps up the top 5, and Stevie Botcher back there in spot number 6 with a Harry Davis Trucking 53 machine. Botcher trying to close in very quickly on 5th place runner Frank Cozy. Botcher taking the inside line, coming down the home straightaway. Brett Hearn now is all as lonesome. Down the back straightaway now as he secures that number 1 spot over 2nd place runner Mike Rickey. Yellow coming on. We got problems down there in turns 1 and 2 of Jeff Hetzler. Syracuse starting spots this year. And Gary Lusher back there in third spot, doing an outstanding job so far here this evening. He could be up for a guaranteed ride to Syracuse this year. Steve Dodd currently running a very strong 4th place county street stocks, dirt sportsman, and now small block modifieds. Meanwhile, caution lights have now been turned out. We're set to go back to racing. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car pulls down to the inside. Brett Hearn brings him down in turns number 3 and 4. Single file style. Coming out of turn number 4, they watch for the green flag, and here we go. Hearn back to the number 1 spot, Mike Rickey. Following that highline group for spot number 2, Cozy drops down to the inside against Steve Dodd. Dodd keeps the horsepower up on the outside, holds on to the number 4 spot. Frank Cozy still back in spot number 5, and Steve Botcher back there in spot number 6. Here we come, rolling on a turn number 4 this time, and Frank Cozy looking back there in spot number 5, trying to get by Steve Dodd. Cozy once again dropping down to the inside. Not the usual line that Cozy takes around the Orange County Speedway, as he's known for that outside driving tactic. Brett Hearn holds on to the number 1 spot, Mike Rickey. Back there in spot number 2, Gary Rusher is third. Rusher third with that 44-round car. Steve Dodd still fourth. Frank Cozy back there in spot number 5. Stevie Botcher is sixth. 7th place, it's Tom Perigo, followed by Ralph Hetzler, Rich Rickey Jr., and here comes Howie Finch, making a break into the top 10. Coming up on 20 laps down, 20 down this time, 2/3 the way home for a feature win by Brett Hearn. Frank Cozy dropping off the pace, down in turns 1 and 2, something wrong with Frank Cozy. And a tough break for the top 5 running Cozy in the Reclamation 74J car. Cozy now out of competition. Hearn holds on to the lead. Rickey still in second. Gary Rusher third. Steve Dodd fourth, and Stevie Botcher now up there in the number 5 spot. Botcher, the Harry Davis Trucking RJL Express car. And once again, that 3rd spot carrying that guaranteed ride to Syracuse right now. And 2 drivers really battling it out. Gary Rusher and Steve Dodd back there looking for that 3rd spot. Rusher, who led the earlier stages of this feature event, coming up in a lot of traffic right now. And Stevie Botcher. Well, Botcher also wants a ride to Syracuse. Dodd drops down to the inside. Ladies and gentlemen, the race of the evening right now may be for that 3rd running spot, as Gary Rusher knows that the heat is on. It's more than just a 3rd spot. That's where the guaranteed Syracuse starting spot lies right now. And it's all between Gary Rusher, Steve Dodd, and Stevie Botcher. Here comes Botcher on the outside. Steve Botcher grabs spot number 4. Steve Dodd now back to spot number 5. Rich Rickey Jr. in spot number 6. Brett Hearn and Mike Rickey, 1 and 2 right now, down in turns number 1 and 2. Hearn very comfortable, a lead he has over 2nd spot runner Mike Rickey. Gary Rusher running his heart out down there in spot number 3 as Stevie Botcher looks down to the inside. Botcher coming up to the tail side very, very quickly on Gary Rusher. Coming up on 5 laps to go, 5 to go this time around. And once again, the spot you want to keep your eyes on, spot number 3. Gary Rusher knows it's time to go racing out here tonight. Now we come down to the nitty-gritty, and here comes Botcher on the inside. Stevie Botcher. Botcher working down to the inside on Gary Rusher, and Stevie Botcher now grabs that number 3 spot. Stevie Botcher riding back there in the number 3 spot as he holds that guaranteed starting spot for Syracuse right now. Gary Rusher back there in spot number 4. Steve Dodd rounds out the top 5 running order. Brett Hearn coming down the straightaway. And Hearn knows that the feature event may be his out there tonight. Lap traffic may become a factor, but Mike Rickey beat back in that field, running in 2nd spot. A straightaway lead that Brett Hearn has right now over 2nd spot, running Mike Rickey. 3rd spot, it's still the number 53 car, Stevie Botcher. Coming up on 2 laps to go, 2 to go as Botcher goes by in 3rd spot. Steve Dodd and Gary Rusher side by side for the number 4 place. Down on the outside, here comes Rich Rickey Jr. trying to make a break into the top 5. White flag comes out. White flag out this time as Brett Hearn takes the high side down in the heart of lap traffic. Mike Rickey is 2nd. 3rd spot, it's still Stevie Botcher. Botcher going by the start-finish line right now. Steve Dodd back there in spot number 4. And spot number 5, it's going to be a close one as the checkered flag comes out for Brett Hearn. Second spot go by right now, the 87 of Mike Rickey. Third spot coming down the straightaway, the number 53 car, Stevie Boucher, and he's your Syracuse qualifier. Fourth place, the 22 car, Steve John, followed by the 55 of Rich Rickey Jr. Well, here he is down here in Victory Lane right now, the small block modified feature winner, Brett Hearn. Second spot, the 87 of Mike Rickey. Third spot, the number 53 of Stevie Boucher, followed by Steve Dodd, Rich Rickey Jr., and Gary Lusher. 30 laps, small block feature event, Brett Hearn. Brett Hearn, it looks like this may be your night after all. 30 laps, and it was really no contest out there tonight.
Well, yeah, so far so good. This car's worked good all year and continues to work good, and I just don't know what to say. You guys are doing a great job on it, and the car runs just fantastic.
You realize how big of a lead you had over Mike Rickey back there in second.
I had some signals on the back straightaway there, and I knew that I had a comfortable margin anyway.
And I'll tell you what, somebody just told me that congratulations are in due for you again because you're going to be a daddy.
Yeah, how about that?
Okay, well, there you have it. Double congratulations out there tonight to Brett Hearn, winner of that small block bucket floor, as you got that Syracuse qualifying spot.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier. I have to thank Harry Davis and all his guys for getting with me here, and I'd say we're going to be taking this car here to Syracuse, so we'll be there trying to catch the 6.
I'll tell you what, first time behind the wheel of the number 53 car, and you couldn't look any finer.
It was going pretty good. About halfway we lost brakes, and that kind of made it a rough race.
I'll tell you what, you had lots of room out there, and a good job you did. The number 53 of Stevie Boucher, and he grabbed the guaranteed Syracuse starting spot, as the first two finishers did. Which has it, and right next door, pick up all the Delia Hallmark and Trailer King. Harmony Sand and Gravel, number 71E machine back there on the inside of row number 2. Sean George out of Palmerton, Pennsylvania, in the S&S Custom Home Service Team, number 15 machine. He's on the outside of row number 2. Robbie Green in the Tops Electrical Contracting, number 69 car, the Green Machine car, back there on the inside of row number 3. Jeff Hetzler in the Smith Brothers Concrete Foundation's Ford Motorsports, number 74 car, starting on the outside of row number 3. Stan Sherman from right here in Middletown, New York, the 22 car on the inside of row 4 with Carl Pittenger out of Mount Hope, New York, brought to us by S&E Auto Body. He sits himself on the outside of row number 4. Row number 5, Billy Wilson, the Wilson's Auto and Truck Center number 7 car from Ramsey, New Jersey. And Richie Urich outside row number 5 out of Johnson, New York with the Countryside Oil Baskin-Robbins Ice Cream number 10 car. The start of the 30-lap Big Block Modified feature event. 28 Big Block Modified set to take the green flag. This time around, the Fulton Chevrolet pace car drops down to the inside. Bobby Decker on the inside, Tommy Hager on the outside. Wheel to wheel now, and turns number 3 and 4. Starter Kenny Marshall looks them over as they come out of turn number 4 this time. Caution lights get turned out, and we're set to go racing. Big Block Modified style. Tommy Hager wasting no time at all. Grabbing the number 1 spot, Bobby Decker second, but here comes Sean George on the inside. George wheels up to the number 2 spot. Bobby Decker third, but here comes Carl Van Horn, the Belvedere Bandit, down to the inside. Battle with Bobby Decker for spot number 3. Here we come, rolling on a turn number 4 this time. Lap number 1 up for Tommy Hager. Hager holds on the lead. Sean George closing in very quickly. Back there in spot number 2. George looks down to the inside this time. Hager keeps the horsepower up on the outside, but we've got problems down in turn number 2. Yellow lights coming up. 2 laps have been scored, 2 down, and 28 more times around for the Big Block Modifieds. Tommy Hager out of Easton, Pennsylvania, a long-time Big Block Modified campaigner across the tri-state area. Caution lights have now been turned out. We're set to go back. The green flag racing. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car sets bye-bye down to the inside. Tommy Hager knows it's time to go racing. Caution lights have been turned out, and we'll be looking for the green this time. Hager on the inside. Hager brings him out of turn number 4. The green flag flies. He goes back to racing. Hager grabs back the number 1 spot while Van Horn drops down to the inside on Sean George, battling for spot number 2. Down the back straightaway. Keep your eyes deep in the heart of that big block modified field. Brett Hearn making some very quick tracks on the outside. Coming down in turns number 3 and 4 this time. Hearn tries to make a break into the top 5 running order. Back there in spot number 6 right now. Tommy Hager holds on to the lead. Carl Van Horn now second. Sean George is third. Richie Urick fourth. Robbie Green back in spot number 5. Brett Hearn, Sammy Rogers back in spots number 6 and 7. Hearn going to make a break into the top 5 this time. Drops down to the inside against Robbie Green. Green on the outside. Hearn down low looking for spot number 5. Coming down the home straightaway. Hearn down the top 5 running order. Brett Hearn working very well on the inside groove out here tonight. Hearn moves by Richie Urick right now for spot number 4, and Hearn keeps his high sets on the low side. Hearn drops down to the inside against Sean George, picks up spot number 3. Here comes Urick down the same groove. Urick on the inside against Sean George for spot number 4. Hager holds on to the lead. Carl Van Horn still second. Brett Hearn back there in spot number 3. Richie Urick is 4th. Sammy Rogers now back in spot number 5. Robbie Green in 6th, and here comes Dwayne Howard at spot number 7. Sean George running in 8th, and Toby Tobias Jr. back in spot number 9. Hager holds on to the lead right now. Carl Van Horn is second, but here comes Hearn on the outside. Hearn tries to make a break up into the outside groove this time, but it's no go. Down the back straightaway. Hearn drops down to the inside against Carl Van Horn. Van Horn rides the rim shot, but the yellow lights come on. Well, the yellow lights came on. It looked like the 15 of Sean George had lost all power down there in start. Tommy Hager, Carl Van Horn make up row number 1. Brett Hearn and Richie Urick back there in row number 2. Fulton Chevrolet pace car back down to the inside. The caution lights get turned out. The race safe systems get turned off. We're set to go back. The green flag racing. 7 down, 23 to go. Here we come on a turn number 4. Tommy Hager goes, but here we go on the inside. And 3 cars all shooting for the number 1 spot. Carl Van Horn grabs the lead. Urick down to the inside. Richie Urick and Tommy Hager wheel to wheel down the back straightaway. Carl Van Horn, a surprise slingshot maneuver down the home straightaway. Lets him with the number 1 spot. Urick, the countryside oil car, now drops down to the inside for spot number 2. Tommy Hager third. Sammy Rogers back there in spot number 4. And Brett Hearn on the outside now, who makes his break back into the spot number 5 position. And Hearn rebounding from that restart. Hearn back in spot number 5. Robbie Green is 6th. And Toby Tobias Jr. on the outside against Dwayne Howard for spot number 7. Fuzzy Van Horn, the Belvedere Bandit, holding up the hard charge and Richie Urick on the inside. Urick keeps the nose in down low with the water down the back straightaway. Tommy Hager back there in spot number 3. Urick trying to close in very quickly on the inside against Carl Van Horn. Van Horn makes a break onto the outside. Van Horn keeps the horsepower up on the rim shot. Here we come down the home straightaway. Urick closing in very quickly. Urick on the inside. Van Horn on the outside. And Urick trying to pull away down the back straightaway. Urick on the inside advantage rolling down the backstretch right now, and Richie Urick holds on the lead just by a whisker going down to turns number 1 and 3 and 4. Van Horn back there in spot number 2 right now, drops down behind the number 10 car, Richie Urick. Sammy Rogers still third. Tommy Hager back in spot number 4. Van Horn rolling on the outside, 3 abreast down in turns number 1 and 2. Hearn on the outside, makes a break for spot number 4, but here comes Sammy Rogers on the inside of Carl Van Horn. Rogers, the Miller Genuine Draft number 1 car, now picks up spot number 2. Van Horn back there in spot number 3, and Brett Hearn, the Freightliner, drops the Newport car, back in spot number 4. Dwayne Howard, the BRB Racing 14 machine, back there in spot number 5. Frank Cozy all the way up to spot number 6, Toby Tobias Jr. in spot number 7, Mike Ricky 8th, Scotty Goodrich 9th, and Rich Ricky Jr. rounds out the top 10 running order. Race leader Richie Urich holding on to that number 1 spot. Sammy Rogers second, Carl Van Horn doing the heat right now for Brett Hearn on the outside. Hearn rebounding from the last couple of laps back in the heart of that field. Hearn now up there in the number 3 spot. Van Horn is 4th. Dwayne Howard back there in spot number 5. Yellow lights coming on. Yellow lights on. 91 Fulton Chevrolet Peace Car back down to the inside. Sammy Rogers this time on the outside of row number 1 with a Miller Genuine Draft Car. Here we come, down in turns number 3 and 4. Lots of heavy hitters up there in the top 3 or 4 rows. Green lights come back on. We go back to racing. Richie Urich wasting no time at all. Grabbing back the number 1 spot. Sammy Rogers second. Brett Hearn keeps it motoring up on the outside. Down the back straightaway. Hearn built up tower. Hearn closing the gap very quickly. In the 3rd position right now, Frank Cozy. Cozy down to the inside for spot number 4, looking at the halfway point this time. 15 down, 15 to go. Richie Urich holds on to the lead. Sammy Rogers is second. Hearn tries to work up on the outside line for spot number 2 right now. Hearn moves down the back straightaway, pulls up along the outside of Sammy Rogers. Spot number 2 going up for grabs. Hearn on the outside, Rogers on the inside, and Brett Hearn wraps up the number 2 spot. Rogers now back in spot number 3. Frank Cozy, the 72 car, doing very well back there in spot number 4. Mike Ricky back there in spot number 5. Urich knows it's time to go racing. Hearn may have went just a couple of feet too high that time, coming out of turn number 2, and Hearn got some feet now to cover up between himself and Richie Urich. Urich holds on to it, coming down in turns number 3 and 4. Brett Hearn knows it's time to close up the gap. Here we come, down the home straightaway. Sammy Rogers back there in spot number 3. Frank Cozy still 4th. Mike Ricky back there in spot number 5. And Toby Tobias Jr. in spot number 6. Urich very, very strong, and he turns throughout the 5/8 yard clay. Urich running the inside line. And Hearn, who keeps floating out to the outside line, coming out of turn number 4 this time. Hearn kicks it down low in spot number 2. Richie Urich, the countryside well, Baskin Robbins Ice Cream number 10 car, holds on to the lead, and Urich knows that Hearn trying to build up the horsepower. Hearn closing up the gap very quickly down the back straightaway. Hearn stands on it down in turns number 3 and 4. Hearn pulls up to the outside. A race leader, Richie Urich, and the duel was on. Coming down the home straightaway. Urich holds on to it by a whisker, but here comes Brett Hearn motoring up to the rim shot. Rim riding down in turns number 1 and 2 right now, and Brett Hearn grabs the number 1 spot, motoring down the back straightaway. Coming up on 10 laps to go. 10 to go this time around, and Brett Hearn looking for the 100th big block modified win of his career here at the Orange County Speedway. Hearn holds on to the number 1 spot. Richie Urich is second. Sammy Rogers back there in 3rd. Frank Cozy running in 4th. Mike Ricky is 5th. Toby Tobias Jr. back in spot number 6. Rich Ricky Jr. is 7th. Dwayne Howard back there in spot number 8. Scotty Goodrich is 9th, and Carl Van Horn rounds out the top 10 running order. Brett Hearn now freewheeling down there in turn number 1 and 2. Urich dropping down to the inside line. Sammy Rogers still second. Cozy rim riding also down the back straightaway. Cozy hung himself on the outside of the 72 car. Cozy running a very strong 4th position right now. Mike Ricky still back there in spot number 5. Brett Hearn coming down the straightaway, stretching out the number 1 spot. Urich once again dropping down to the inside, picks that left right wheel way up off the ground, coming out of turn number 2. Urich holds on to the number 2 spot. Sammy Rogers still 3rd. Frank Cozy back there in spot number 4. Rich Ricky back there in the number 7 position. Black flag being handed out to the number 92 of Ralph Hetlick. A lot of smoke coming out of that car. Hearn once again, very comfortable right now as he motors down the back straightaway. Urich still second. Rogers 3rd. Mike Ricky looks down to the inside of Frank Cozy, trying to take over spot number 4. Mike Ricky on the inside, Frank Cozy on the outside. Cozy stands on it down there in turns number 3 and 4. Hearn comes down the home straightaway. Tommy Hager in the 43 car dropping off the pace. Hager heading back for the infield this time. Hearn once again holds on to a very, very comfortable lead of the second spot runner, Urick. Yellow lights come on. We've got problems coming out of turn number 4. Dirk Adrians, the Summit Hardware $sign car with a flat right rear racing tire on that car. Heading back to single file restart. 25 down, 5 to go this time around. Brett Hearn, the Freightliner Trucks and Newburgh number 6 car, holds on to the number 1 spot. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car now down to the inside, set to go back to green flag racing this time around. Hearn brings him out of turn number 4. The green flag goes out and the hammers go down. Hearn holds on to the number 1 spot. Urick down to the inside line, and he's got that left front tire way up off the ground down the back straightaway. Sammy Rogers running back there in 3rd. Frank Cozy is 4th. Mike Rickey back there in spot number 5. That Coors number 8 car. Billy Cobb rolling on a turn number 4 this time. It's coming down to the nitty-gritty right now. Hearn with a very comfortable lead already over the number 10 car, Richie Urick. Urick back there in the number 2 spot. Rogers still 3rd. Frank Cozy, the Caniso Speed and Sport car, back there in spot number 4. Mike Rickey rounds out the top 5. Toby Tobias Jr. back there in spot number 6. Coming down the straightaway this time. 3 more laps to go for the number 6 car, Brett Hearn. Urick back there in spot number 2. Sammy Rogers still 3rd. Frank Cozy keeps it up on the outside. Down in turns number 1 and 2. Mike Rickey running back there in spot number 5. And Toby Tobias Jr. back in spot number 6. Rich Rickey back in spot number 7, followed by the 14 of Dwayne Howard for spot number 8. 2 more laps to go, 2 to go this time around. Hearn holds on to a very comfortable lead right now, keeps the horsepower to the outside line. Urick on the inside for spot number 2, Rogers still 3rd, Cozy 4th, and Mike Rickey back there in spot number 5. White flag coming out this time. 1 more time around for Brett Hearn. A lot of smoke starting to come out of the number 10 car, Richie Urick. And something wrong with the suspension of that car. And he's going to try and handle his way down the back straightaway for a feature finish. Checkered flag coming out this time for the 100th time. Here at the Orange County Speedway, the winner, Brett Hearn. Second spot rolling down the speedway, the number 1 of Sammy Rogers. 3rd, Frank Cozy. 4th, Mike Rickey. And 5th, it's Toby Tobias Jr.
Yes.